Today we're going to be making this beautiful card. We're going to be putting together all the pieces that we did on the previous videos to make this Beauty of the Deep card. In previous videos, we made this color wash paper using 3 different techniques that we're going to use to cut out these 3 pieces of seaweed. We did one where we laid the stamp pad sideways and misted it, and we did where we took multiple colors and then misted, and then this was putting the color directly in the spritzer and spritzing on the paper. You can see those in the other video, which I will put in the description or the comments. We also have a video on making this background paper using blending brushes. So we kind of get a mixture of Azure Afternoon and Tahitian Tide and Starry Sky. So you can see how to make those in the other videos. Today we're gonna put it all together. All together now, all together now. We're gonna start with our Azure Afternoon card base, and this is a standard A2 card that measures 5.5 by 4 1/4. And onto that, we are going to put a layer of white. And we're going to cut this white layer at 5 1/4 by 4. It's gonna go right on our card front. So let's go ahead and adhere that. All right. Now we're gonna make this background. We're gonna complete it. So we already have our blue blended background. So to that, we need to add our stamped seaweed. So I'm using Parakeet Party, which is a nice bright green that shows up very nicely on this paper that already has a lot of ink on it. And I'm going to need this tall piece of seaweed and this large fan of seaweed, as well as this little tiny one. I'm also gonna need this like little sea urchin type creature or plant. I don't know what it is, but it looks really cool at the bottom of our ocean scene. I'm gonna begin with this one. And for that, we'll use this. This is the H block for those of you playing along at home. I have to tell you, having these Stampin' Up! Blocks, I bought the entire set once when I could, had a big enough order to do a 50% off. And I love them. I don't know how I lived without them for so long. It is so nice having the right size to go on the stamp, to put the stamp on, I should say. Okay, so we're going to ink that up, and we're going to put something there. And now we're gonna do the big fan. We're gonna do that one right over here. And for this, you need the really large block. This is the E block, and then you even have to turn it sideways. It doesn't even fit very well if you don't. So we're just gonna ink that very large stamp up and then put that one on. See how nicely that shows up? I love it. I love it. Now for this little guy, I'm going to use the B block, and I'm just gonna put a couple of those around here, and maybe one here, and maybe one over here. Some of this is going to get trimmed off because we have to make this piece a little smaller, which you can do beforehand or you can do it after, like I'm going to do. Now I'm going to get my Starry Sky ink pad and my tiny little block. This is the A block, and this is for my little sea urchin. That's what I'm gonna call it. So this is Starry Sky. And remember, we use Starry Sky to make some of this darker background, so it kind of picks that up. And I'm just gonna put that along the bottom of my ocean. Okay, maybe a stamp off or two. Whoops. Oh, that looks terrible. Ah, that'll work. When in doubt, cover it up. Okay. So that's our stamped background. Now we need to have it fit. Right now it's too big. So we want just a little bit of a border of the white because we want it to be mostly blue. The white just kind of makes it pop a bit. So we need to cut this at, see, this is 5 1/4, so we need this at 5 1/8. So I'm gonna kind of play with it here. So if I do it right there, yeah, I think that'll work pretty nicely. Or you could trim off both sides, but I think trimming it right there is gonna be perfect. And then it needs to be 3 7/8 tall. And that is perfect. So we'll go ahead and adhere that. Beautiful. Now we get to add the pieces on top. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get my dies that I need. And I'm going to need to cut out my fish, which is this one. And I want a large piece of seaweed. And I want this tall piece. And I also want this little bitty piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut these out and we'll take a look at how each of the three look after they're cut out. Because this seaweed die is so intricate, it's kind of a pain to glue on. I mean, it can be done, that's how I did this one, but I'm going to make things a little easier on this one. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna use this multicolored one when it comes down to it. So I'm gonna use an adhesive sheet and just kind of ignore that green pieces there because I got some adhesive there that I needed to, so I didn't stick every time. These adhesive sheets, they look like this. And what you do is you go to the back of your material that you're gonna be die cutting. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna be making a sticker. And you can peel that off and just apply it to the back. And then you can take scissors and trim around this. So you know when you put your die on the other side, it's gonna be on adhesive. So I'm just gonna go ahead and trim this. So I'll trim that as well. So So now I can take my seaweed die and I'm gonna place this. So now we can put these on, whoops, like this, or wherever. Put on our top plate and run it through. And now what you have, your die cuts are now stickers. Like I said, this one's really intricate. It can be kind of difficult to get out. Definitely want to look and see what you're doing. That's just an inner piece, so I can pull that off. And now these have a backing that when you peel it off, it's now a sticker. Another side note, this Take Your Pick tool is fantastic. This is what you need to get out these negative pieces. It makes it so much easier when you have this pick tool. So much, see, you just pop it right out. It's great. By the way, I ran this through twice. I did it in the cutter forward and then I just brought it backwards to bring it through again, just to make sure all these cuts were really good. So, look how quick that is with your Take Your Pick tool. So now I have all three of our watercolor designs cut. Bring this back. So this was the one that was the splatters from putting the ink in the spritzer. So didn't really come out very strong, did it? It just kind of looks white. I mean, you can see if you look really closely, there's different colors, but I don't really like how light colored those are. This is the one that was just blue, and it did come out nice. You have like a darker blue and then lighter blue. So that would go on there. If you wanted to go with an all blue, you could use these, and that would be really pretty. The multicolor, my favorite. I love color. So that's the one I'm gonna go with. And I have used the adhesive sheets to make these stickers. So you just have to get it started. Always fun. And then just peel that off and now it's all a sticker. And you don't have to worry about glue. So I'm going to put this, let me look at my model here. Like right about here, maybe next to that. And I'm gonna line this right up on the bottom and stick it down. I get a good press to make sure all the pieces are adhered. Yay! And now we're gonna take our tall one and put over here on the right. Get that sticker started. You can use glue on these. I did on the original one, but the whole time I was thinking, man, I should have done these with adhesive sheets. It'd be so much easier than trying to put all that glue with, you know, the fine tip glue, and then some of it still will run out sometimes, and that's no fun because then you have to get your adhesive eraser. Here's our last little piece of seaweed. Voila. Yay! Looking good. Now my fish. So I had a fish left over that I already have cut out. And then I have these two that I'm going to cut out with my fish die, which is right here. So let me get those cut out. Before we adhere our fish, we want to go ahead and make our sentiment. We're going to put that on first, and then we can put the fish where they look the best. So I decided to go with the Charming Sentiments, and I love these because there's a die to exactly cut out each sentiment. So if you want to keep your beautiful background as the focal point, you don't want it covered with, you know, the sentiment mat or whatever, this is a great, great set for that. So we're gonna do Wishing You the Best of Everything. That's this one. It's a little bit too small. That one works perfectly. So this is photopolymer. I'm gonna go ahead and use my mat. I'm gonna do this in black. Beautiful. Now all I need to do is cut this out. And like I said, there is a die for every single saying in this set, which is awesome. So I'll get that cut out. All right, I have everything that I need to finish my card. I'm gonna start by putting on the sentiment. And to do that, I'm gonna use some dimensionals. So that stands up a bit off of the card, gives it some dimension. Oops, put one there and one here. And you can always cut off a little piece from the edge if you have a spot you want to fill in. Use it all. Okay. Wishing you everything wonderful. Now I'm gonna put my fish on. One here, and this little guy down here. Yes, perfect. For that, I'm gonna use my Tombow liquid glue. And there you have it, the original and the copy.